In this lecture, we're going to be talking about exercising, resting, and nutrition. Of course, throughout the course, we talked about these concepts a bit, and by now you know that these are essential concepts and essential habits that you need to have in order to ensure effective neuroplasticity. And of course, in order to do that, you need to have a healthy brain, you need to have a lot of brain cells and a lot of neural links that are happening. And these three concepts are not as hard as some people think. They're actually pretty straightforward and really easy to understand. So, as we discussed previously, proper resting, healthy nutrition, and consistent exercising can and will ensure a better overall brain health. Now, when we say proper resting, we need to understand that each and every person has different needs when it comes to resting. Some people can live off 4 hours of sleep, some people need 6, 7, 8. And second, healthy nutrition, you ensuring that, of course, your diet is healthy. Maybe include intermittent fasting as we talked about it before. And each and every person's notion of healthy diet can be different. Some people think it's being vegan is being healthy, or being vegetarian is being healthy, or it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you're not eating in excess of sugar, salt, or processed food, you'll be good. And lastly, consistent exercising, of course. People can invest time that other people can't invest. Some people are just busier than other people and can't practice for 6 or 7 days a week. But the good news is, and we already talked about this, is that you don't need more than 30 minutes 3 times a week. And it can be as simple as squeezing 20 minutes before you wake up and 20 minutes before you sleep. If you wake up 20 minutes before and you go to bed 20 minutes later, these are the 40 minutes you need to finish your exercise. But now, the thing about exercising is that exercising is usually, when we're talking about habits, is considered as a keystone habit. When you guys get to the habits section, you will understand way more the concept of keystone habits. But in a nutshell, there are some habits that, just for the fact that you're doing these habits, would generate other habits that you would do automatically. And this is exactly the example we're talking about right now. All of these 3 habits are actually interrelated and highly correlated. When you start exercising, you have the tendency to eat better food, and your body will adapt to better sleep schedules because your muscles are tired and you need proper resting, and your body knows this. In this case, what we're getting to is the following. If you focus on each and every one of these habits separately, it's going to be a bit hard for you to manage all of them. But if you just focus on reinforcing the habit of exercising, nutrition, and sleep, they will just come along automatically. So set a fitness goal that you have and use the SMART goals techniques that are included in the course and the time management techniques and planning, so you can ensure that you will have a plan and you will eventually execute and make out of exercising a habit to eventually make it part of your neural network. Once you have this image of how you want to become in your head, when you start exercising and you notice that you need to lose your belly and you drink a lot of soda and eat a lot of junk food, well, automatically, to be able to get to where you want to get, you have to cut down on these things, and you're moving into a healthier diet. And then you go exercise your muscles and you get really tired. You burn a lot of calories at the gym. Now when you go back home, your body needs to rest, and that's why you'll be able to sleep better, because your muscles needs recovery. And before you know it, you developed all of these habits all together, and 2 of them were automatic, following the Keystone Habit method. Now, we're going to go deeper into the concept of resting. Sleep serves to re-energize the body's cells. It also works on clearing waste from the brain. And on top of that, it supports learning and memory. So taking a 15 to 20 minute nap during the day had similar effects in the brain, and adding, of course, increase in the numbers of brain cells. Usually, when you're a professional and you have a really busy life, you don't always get the sleep that you want or the sleep that you need, and you don't usually rest a lot. You're always in a constant state of thinking about what you have to do and working. And a lot of people, when they start to get tired a little bit during the day, they take a nap. And at different instances, I heard people who were talking about a half a minute nap that they wanted to take that turned into 6 hours. And what that does is gonna the instinctive response for the difference between day and night and how our sleep schedule works accordingly. And this very long nap is actually not beneficial at all. What researchers found is that if you take a 15 to 20 minute nap during the day is much more effective than taking a 1 hour nap. And the reason why is because there is something called the sleep cycle. When somebody sleeps, he goes into different phases, and usually sleepers pass through 5 stages: 1, 2, 3, 4, and REM. REM stands for rapid eye movement. But what you need to understand is that while you sleep, you go through these cycles of sleep states. And the first phase we talked about, phase number 1, is usually referred to as the phase where the sleep is still very late. And then this is followed by a deep sleep and a dream state referred to as REM, what we mentioned before. Now, once you go through the sleep cycle, you have to go through several stages before you wake up. This is the part where your brain thinks it's time to rest, and then the sleep cycle starts. And to be able to rest properly, there are a certain number of REMs that you need to go through. If you go through all of them, you're going to feel very well rested. But then, when you skip one of them, you're not going to feel as good. And this would probably add up on the next time you're going to rest. That's why when you had 2, 3, 4 days of poor sleeping, then the weekend is here, you're going to sleep a lot. So the purpose of a 15-20 minute nap is to not fall into this cycle, because once you fell into your sleep cycle, it doesn't matter what time you wake up unless you finish all the REM phases that you need to go through. You will feel groggy and pretty sleepy actually. And of course, this has side effects on your brain, where you're not resting properly, you're not getting the right amount of energy your brain needs. Brain cells will start to die. And with brain cells dying, this will affect your brain's neuroplasticity. By now, you must know this by heart. So ensuring a good sleeping schedule where you get anywhere between 6 to 8 hours of sleep, ensuring that you don't use your phone right before you sleep, because it can also affect your sleeping cycle. When you're looking at your screen, your brain thinks that because of this light, that it's still daytime. And this is one of the biggest problems nowadays for kids when they need to sleep. And finally, if you are ever really tired that you need a nap, go for it, but don't go for a really long nap. Make it a short 15 to 20 minute nap, and that's it. And believe me, try it, and when you wake up, you're going to feel way more energized than the previous times where you took a 1 or 2 hour nap. Now we're going to go back to exercising. We're going to go through it very quickly because we already talked about it a lot, and by now you guys know most of the things concerning exercising. So I'm just going to pinpoint some ideas that are really important in case you missed them the last time. Exercise helps memory and thinking through both direct and indirect means, meaning that going to the gym itself, lifting weight and exercising, for example, whatever the type of exercising is, it doesn't matter if you go to the gym or go for a run. Your willpower that you're using and your motivation is increasing, and it's ensuring neuroplasticity in your brain when it comes to these two concepts. At the same time, when you exercise, there are nutrients and proteins that are released in your body that would help the brain a lot. The combination will improve mood and sleep, and it will reduce stress and anxiety. And finally, ensuring proper diet. Increasing the consumption of the brain foods, it will give you an advantage when it comes to mental energy levels. it will also help boost the number of cells, which plays a primary role in neuroplasticity. There's going to be an article in the course with a list of brain foods. The more you eat these, the more brain cells you have, the more mental energy and brain energy you will have. And of course, when you have more of these, you have way more brain plasticity. So one last thought before the end of this lecture. I had a lot of friends who asked me about neurostimulating medications. And I'm not talking about triggering medications like ADHD medications, Adderall, or Ritalin. I'm talking about products that you can find in the market over the counter that claim that they can boost your focus, your energy level, and your neurological state. And research is still not really clear on whether these would actually help or not. I did my own research and I actually tried them. I personally did not feel a difference. However, there are substances and ingredients in those pills that are known to naturally boost memory and give more brain energy. But of course, each body would adapt differently to these nutrients. So if you ever run across a brain stimulant, make sure to check the ingredients and what's in the pill, and then research to see if those are ingredients that would actually help with whatever they're claiming to help. And if the answer is yes, you can test it out and see if it works well with you. And if you see that it doesn't suit you, you will just know because you won't feel a difference.